How to look like an athlete at the grand old age of 50. Most people think when they get to that age that it is done, dusted, and that there is nothing left for them to give, and they are just there to frail and wither away into their elderly bodies. It does not have to be this way. Here is a recent Gorilla Platoon result that has just come in that we're going to discuss how we got it. Now, I will say the disclaimer is if you look at the photo on the left, not too bad at all. This guy, you can see, has been training for a long period of time, is in great condition already, or decent condition. Let's say there's a fair amount of adipose tissue around the belly button, but now we've got him peeled to the bone, and he looks absolutely exceptional. So let's roll in and speak about how we did that. If you're new to the channel, by the way, welcome. My name is Tom Sergey. I run the Gorilla Platoon, which is an online physique transformation program where we get results like this each and every week, like the one we have today, and then we just talk about them online so you can copy them and apply them into your own lives. So this was a 10-week result that we achieved where we went from 77 kg down to 69, 8 kgs off within a time frame of 10 weeks. As you can see, we're now cut up quite nicely. If we look at the development in terms of the upper clav, the chest there, and the delt and the tricep versus what we had in the original arm, and obviously a Tottenham flag for those of you Tottenham fans that are watching the channel, or none of you. Obviously from the front shot, this pose slightly different to the one you saw in the start. But we can just see the detail that we're able to bring out around the midsection, get those flat and dry, and then also fuller across the bicep and the chest, and then the back as well. Nice showcase the work that was done there. So most importantly then, that was the end result. Now let's talk about how we actually got there. Guys, you'll be happy to know that when someone comes to me at this level of a condition, and to be honest, the main method I like to approach, and any returning viewers of the channel will know this, I'm in the camp of keeping your food high so we can keep your output high. We're here to turn you into athletes. We're not here to turn you into calorie deficit merchants and just turn you into starving like people just to get the result out. It's not really the way we like to run. As we can see in these photos, significantly has still held on to, and maybe increased, you would argue, muscle fullness. That is mission critical when we do this. So this guy actually started with 2,476 calories. Steps were at 8K was the goal. Obviously, you can see breeze past that. But we did start with 40 minutes cardio per day, which is quite high for most people, and I'm well aware of this. But at the end of the day, if you want to become an athlete, you're going to need to move like an athlete would, which he would not bat an eyelid at doing 40 minutes of daily cardio. So that was the first thing we decided to do, push the cardio so we can keep the food high. We started to see some nice drop-offs across the first few weeks and really started to tail our way down. As you can see, we ran with 2-4, 2-4, 2-4, 2-4 until week 5, where we then pulled down to 2-2-8-4. Then at that point, we went 2-2-2-2-2-2-2, down to 2-1. There was a holiday break in the middle because this ran over Christmas, where he went to Dubai to enjoy himself, and rightly so. Again, we're here to turn you into athletes, but I'm also not here to turn you into an absolute robot, because I appreciate you're human beings. You're going to have things that need to come up. We must plan for that, move around it, and make sure that then we still hit the goal, because it's a lifestyle change, not just a quick crash down to that lean level just because it was the perfect conditions. It'll never be the perfect conditions. You'll have a wedding you need to attend. You'll have something that you need to attend to, and it will just throw you off course. That's okay. We plan for that in advance, or we deal with the damage and then reverse it after that. Ran with 2-2-8-4 for a further 2 weeks before we went to 2-1 for 2 weeks. Pulled another 100 calories here, and then pulled best part of 200 calories in the last week here, with cardio going 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 60, and then 70, as we just got a little bit aggressive towards the back end to see that drop off. If you're wondering why that reads 73.9, it will also give you a example as to why he looks so full here. As we got towards the end, you then run a high day, where you essentially fill them back up with carbohydrates. With this, you're going to get your scale weight, current scale weight, times it by 7, and it's going to give that nice full look in the muscle, and also the veins that you can see that then pop through here is due to that as well. What did we do for training is probably the next thing that we want to discuss. So if you watched yesterday's video, you will find, I repeat myself now, but this I find to be a decent split for those of you that can train 4 days per week. So we've got push, pull, legs, and then an upper session itself. Another way I've skinned this cat is doing full body push and full body pull times 2, and that will capture that as well. But yeah, 4 days per week we were training. So on the push, we had incline cable bench flies, incline dumbbell press, flat barbell bench press. We weren't in a fanciest of gyms for this, just the basics, but again, that's all you really need is the basics. Dumbbells and barbells have been around for the longest period of time because they work. Machines are great. Machines are fabulous. Machines are absolutely fabulous. Why? They take stability out of the equation so you can focus on the working muscle. But dumbbells and barbells have been around for the longest period of time because they work. So don't turn your nose up at them. They are tools to get you to the result. Dumbbell shoulder press, lateral raise, crossbody tricep extension on a cable, skull crushers, and a reverse ab crunch. Pull, single arm pull down on the cable. T-bar row, this can be done in the gym on a T-bar row machine, a cable row, or you could also use dumbbells with your chest supported on a bench. Single arm cable row, hammer curls, incline dumbbell curls, rear delt flies, and some hanging leg raises to fry the abs. Legs, leg extension, seated leg curl, single leg 45-degree leg press, and then RDLs, calf raise, ab crunch, and then also a reverse ab crunch. We doubled up the movement on this. And then on the upper session, a blend of the push and pull, bench flies, pull down, bench press, cable row, lateral raises, dips, and then also a bicep exercise as well. So this was the split we followed. What was critical for this was, obviously, we wanted to make sure there was enough food going in to drive performance in the gym to keep muscles full. But also, you've got to make sure you track the workouts that you're doing in the gym. You need to make sure you beat what you did last time, the time before. I will say at the minute, me and my current training partner, we are having a right good time of it because we're essentially going in the gym and battling out against each other who is going to win the overall session. And we've known each other for a long, long time, so the bragging rights and the stakes are quite high, and it puts a real good emphasis on it, PB in session after session, and really getting the most out of each other. So if you can get a training partner, do so, go with them, put something on it. Whoever wins the most amount of sets per session, obviously whatever forfeit you and your friend can think of, no doubt you just can get very creative for this, will definitely work. But the thesis of this is you need to track and record all of your sessions during the workout. When it comes to cardio and you're thinking, what cardio are we doing? You say to keep cardio high or drive performance through cardio, drive fat loss through cardio. What do we use? You want to do something that's non-impact. If I'm getting you to do something daily, it can't be something that's going to accumulate a shit ton of fatigue because your sessions are going to suffer, and then also your appetite is going to go up. Therefore, adherence is going to be more challenging towards sticking to the plan. So in the beginning, just start off with the bike, or an incline treadmill walk is one of my personal favorites. Run that for a few weeks. You may get bored of that, and then you could move to a cross trainer. Generally, the cross trainer, or in America you call it the elliptical, you'll need to push the heart rate a little bit more just because of otherwise you'll look like you're going in slow motion with it. I would do say keep the heart rate 120 to 130, but again, another tool you can use is you could keep it like that until you hit 30 minutes. Then the next means could be actually push it around 140 to 150, sit 145. For that, I'd say get yourself on a cross trainer or even a Stairmaster will work quite nicely for that as well. And that way it'll keep your cardio up as another means of pushing that output. Also, on top of that, we do the step count. So you're going to be pushing 10,000 steps each and every day. I am a big fan of steps in terms of their low cost of fatigue. Very good for dropping body fat. The only issue is the time. I can appreciate to do 10K, 6K is about an hour's worth of work. Depends how quick you can walk. So then another 4 you probably accumulate throughout the day. If you've got, to push another 5K, it's about another hour on top of that. It just depends if you've got the capacity for it in your lifestyle. Some of you do, and then I absolutely push the steps first if you can, then use the cardio formally after. Some of you are just so busy that formal cardio is really going to be the only means and way to do so. Recovery. When it comes to recovery, you're going to need to make sure you get that 8 hours sleep, and you're going to do this through two methods. The first one we'll say is through routine and your overall self-respect. So this is making sure you go to bed at the same time and up at the same time. Now, to do this, you're going to need to say no to a lot of things. Firstly, your own brain, when it's telling you to stay up, watch this thing, this is exciting. You've got to tell your own brain, no, we're on plan. We're here to become the athlete version of ourselves, and that guy is disciplined to his sleep because he knows the benefits of it. For some reason, I get it maybe like once in a massive blue moon, I'll be like, I just struggled to sleep. I had it last night, and I was like, fuck's sake. Like in bed, like, motherfucker, I'm like, I know I'm losing testosterone literally because I'm not sleeping. I blasted a big chest and back session yesterday, and I know I'm not recovering as good as I could. And that really, really annoys me. So, like, I can only imagine if people chronically do that, how detrimental it would be to physique development, body recomposition. So do be rigid with your sleep. This means your routine needs to be on point. even allocating that time just before bed if you can, where it's a complete wind down. You don't really do anything. Your brain's not active or thinking, and it's ready for when you hit the pillow, you're ready to snooze. The second thing will come through supplementation, and I personally take magnesium for this, magnesium glycinate. This is a good supplement, not for helping get to sleep, I don't believe, but for deep sleeps, like that will absolutely work a trick for you. If you're actually thinking what other supplementation do we tend to run, this is the basic stack. I personally take all of these myself, actually. You got a BCA. That's not really a necessary. It's more of a nice to have while you're training. Creatine monohydrate is an absolute must for strength and performance, especially whilst in calorie deficit. Obviously, we just spoke about the magnesium. The rest of the stack I take in the morning. Zinc links to the production of testosterone. Omega-3 is for joint health. You'll find as you go through the transformation, if you're on lower food and specifically lower fats, you want to look after the joints, which you would have got from fats. So now from there, you're going to need to supplement with omega-3. A multivit, I think a multivit is okay to cover your basis. Depends on the brand and how good it is. But actually, I think if you do work out what you're deficient in, which is probably the most efficient way to go, you'll know what to supplement in, as opposed to just taking a multivitamin. Honestly, your diet should probably have, and we can go into what he exactly ate, it should realistically have plenty of micronutrients coming from the fruit and veg. And then you got Vit D that comes to K2 for its absorption. Most motherfuckers at the minute, they're just not out in the sunlight enough. To be fair, it is February, so across the world for a lot of people, it is not summer. It is doom and gloom outside. I personally supplement Vit D just because I'm inside making fucking YouTube videos all day and doing check-ins, so I don't actually get out in the sun as much as I would like to. Let's go into specific foods, what he was eating. This was the meal plan, and actually, and this kind of leads quite nicely onto what happens when you get to the goal. We'll touch on that and then we'll go into the meal plan itself. So what happens when you get to the goal, when you've reached the target, which he had there, you're then going to enter a reverse phase. He wants to hold the condition ready for his season of cycling that's coming up and hold the scale weight as close to it as he possibly can. So from there, you're going to slowly increase food. So we've added 250 calories in the form of, it was specifically meal one. We added some fats in there at 25 grams, 160 calories, pretty much. And what that's going to do is slow down the digestion of that first meal as well. And then also, get those fats back up. So we're back up to 40 gram of fat. And then we also pushed a bit more oats in there as well. So that's the route I tend to go through carbs and through fats. Protein, realistically, you're not going to push. It will come up anyway, just because of where we push the oats. There's trace proteins in oats, 100 grams of oats actually gets you 17 grams of protein. But just bearing in mind, they're not the complete proteins. Your complete proteins are what you get from your meat and your fish and your eggs. When you get protein in oats, it's missing some of the essential amino acids. That's why the meat sources are so important. So anyway, into what he was eating specifically. So you got oats, whey protein, nut butter. Meal two, then chicken breast and rice. There was veg in there, but again, for a little bit more education, we took that out for the last week where we were looking to get those photos. When the veg is in there, sometimes it can keep water in the gut and therefore gives you that more of a bloated look when you're trying to get that dry, crispy photo look, which I believe we did achieve in this here. If you look at this shot here, very, very dry, lines coming through, veins on the abs. There's no excess water being held in there, which is really, really nice for that last photo. So just a little bit of education. Obviously, the veg will be going back in there when we up food next week as well. Jam and bread before the gym, 2 slices of bread, 30 gram of jam. This is going to digest quite quickly. Beauty of this, you can eat it quite close to the session without it really giving you a bloating or not actually being used. If you have oats, you're going to need it 45 minutes before, which I'm all for. I actually personally have oats before the gym. I like the fullness, I like the amount that you get in terms of calorie perspective, but if you miss your window, you're not going to digest it in time to get the effects of it. You might not be full and you still get your session in, but you want to get the effects of the food. That's why you eat it. Shake for after, and then meal 5, we were running with chicken breast, pasta sauce. Again, veg was in there, and some morale at the end of the day, berries and low-fat yogurt. Right at the very start, we also run some dark chocolate in that as well. So that's what we were eating, how we were training, supplements, activity, and recovery. The most important factor is what we can see here, that you have tracked and recorded all of your data. That's the most important factor here. If you're not tracking and recording your data, you're not going to know if you're on plan. And another disclaimer, when you go for a transformation like this, there will be times where you feel skinny. You're not skinny, you're just flat. Flat being you've not had a certain amount of glycogen the way glycogen works is you eat carbohydrates, you drink water. You eat enough of those, the muscle pushes tight against the skin. You probably get this a lot when you're in a bulking phase. However, when you're in calorie deficit and carbs are lower, over time that gets flatter and flatter and flatter. Picture now like a water bottle where you've poured half the water out, squeeze some of the air out, put the lid back on, it's all squidgy and stuff. That's how your muscle is. And that's where people go, oh, I'm skinny, let's sack this off, let's go back into a bulk. Don't do that. This is why you track the data. You just need to make sure you are dropping a kilogram per week, getting down towards that goal. Tracking your workouts, because if your numbers in the gym are at least holding, if not improving, you can't be losing muscle, because fresh air isn't moving that new load, is it? It's physical muscle that is. Side note, if we were to run a high carb day, you will fill back up quite quickly, and therefore you'll look like a superhuman and you'll be like, thank God I didn't sack this. And B, you'll realize how like stupid it was that I wasn't skinny, I was just flat. So that's just also something to bear in mind. But we'll wrap the video up there. That was the result that we got across a 10-week span. Very, very good effort from him, and this is the caliber that you should be aiming for, even if you are 50 years old. So if you found this useful, great, subscribe to the channel. If you want me to do this for you, there'll be links in the description. Apart from that, I will see you tomorrow.